Good morning, everyone. Please log into Clever. All right, today we are reviewing our water unit topics, specifically introducing the kind of water treatment review assignment that you have for today. So first is I really just want you to kind of dig back into your brain and tell me what are three things that you remember about water from this unit of study. Awesome. So, some things that I hope you thought about is the fact that water is a polar molecule, meaning it has a negative end and a positive end. Water is H2O, two hydrogens and one oxygen. The electrons that are being shared in these polar covalent bonds are being pulled more towards the oxygen side, resulting in a negative on that oxygen with positives on the hydrogens. Water is a polar molecule, and that's important in many things, specifically some of these properties. Another thing that results because of polar water is the fact that the water molecules like to stick together. These dotted lines are what are called hydrogen bonds. The fact that the negative end of one water molecule will stick to the positive end of another water molecule. Again, that hydrogen bond also results in some interesting properties. So we've talked about how ice floats because as water freezes, the solid ice becomes less dense because the water molecules actually move further apart from each other because of hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding on the surface of water creates almost this layer that allows creatures like this guy to sit on top of it, or for you to slap your hand or your belly on water and it really hurt. Cohesion is literally explaining how water molecules like to stick together, and adhesion explains why water likes to stick to other things, particularly if they are polar or charged, because water molecules like to stick to other charged or polar things. Opposite charges attract, so the negative end of one water molecule will stick to a positively charged substance, and vice versa. All right, so this is lesson 12. This is our water unit review day. There's not a ton of new work for you. The point is to get caught up, finish anything with this water unit that needs to be done, as well as review the water treatment process for Louisville. As always, check assignments for grades, for comments, for returns. Check your ed puzzles for answers to questions or comments as well as whatever those grades are. Remember, if your grade isn't uploading to Google Classroom from Edpuzzle, that means that you didn't finish it all the way. Remember, as always, to use your resources. It's not cheating. They're there for you. So please use your resources, including notes and assignments that we've done throughout this unit to help you prepare and then take the assessment. Remember our classroom expectations. And this week, like I said, it's pretty light in terms of number of assignments, but some big things that we're doing. We are reviewing the unit today, and with this first lesson, the second lesson of the week is going to prepare you to take the assessment, which will have some multiple choice and a little bit of writing. So thank you guys for being here so that you can get the information you need to be successful to do the review assignment and hopefully prepare yourself for then the assessment that is happening next in our next lesson. But looking ahead, there's some interesting things that are kind of all lining up right now. So like we've been discussing, this is the end of a unit. So the end of the unit is with that assessment that is happening on Thursday and Friday. The end of the first 6 weeks is actually today, March 2nd. So what that means is that it's a good idea for us to spend this week really getting caught up on all of our work for this first 6 weeks, because it's all with this unit and it's all going to be on your first 6-week grades. All makeup work needs to be in by Friday, March 5th. But I will tell you that the unit exam that is happening the 4th and the 5th, so Thursday and Friday, it's not going to be on your first 6 weeks, first 6-week grade. That being said, really work to get all of your work caught up so that you can be successful on that assignment, on that assessment that's happening, as well as making sure that your first 6-week grades is where you want it to be. So remember, you can do your makeup whenever works for you. Just continue to work and get caught up. Something else I want to just make you aware of is under the important information tab or section on classwork, I've added a material with information and materials related to our return to school. So if you are choosing to come back to in-person school, it's going to be a little weird and different for all of us. Things are even going to change ever so slightly if you choose to remain virtual. So I wanted to just make sure that you had access to all of the information that will let you know what that's going to look like. Also importantly, I had made a Google form where if you have any questions about what it's going to look like to return to school, please don't hesitate to ask those questions because I can either try to answer them or it might be something that I discuss with everyone in class. All right. Thank you guys for being here. Let's walk through your assignment. So if you remember last lesson in lesson 11, we went through the generic water treatment process and we talked about some of the steps and processes that are happening to not only clean our water, but then also make sure that it is a high quality and is safe for us to consume. So we talked about some physical processes that happen, including sedimentation and filtration. We talked about chemical processes, coagulation and disinfection, and then other processes to make sure the water is at a quality that we need it to be, including adding fluoride, adjusting the pH, and making sure that it is not corrosive. All right. So we broke down the 9 steps here and we looked at what was going on, not just by looking at what's in the images, but more importantly, by reading what was underneath. That's where you're going to get the information about what's happening there, what is being removed from the water, as well as what is maybe being added to make that process happen. That's the important thing that you need to remember as you do this, as we do or walk through this assignment. So your task for this review assignment is you are going to analyze the steps of the Louisville water treatment process. You're going to decide what is happening at that step. You're going to determine what contaminants are being removed, and then you're going to identify if something was added to cause this process to happen. Okay. So the big image kind of looks like this, and right now I will provide you a link to a PDF version of this that maybe you'll be able to blow it up and be able to see it a little better. But we're going to be analyzing each of these boxes, each of these steps for what's going on. All right. So we're going to do the first step together to make sure we kind of understand what this process is. So on the assignment, you'll have, it'll look like this. It'll have the image. You'll want to read what's in the box, and then you're going to identify what process is happening, what contaminant is being removed, and what, if anything, is being added. All right. So let's do this step by step here. So the box says Louisville Water Company takes water from the Ohio River through pipes in the river. The water passes through rotating screens to remove large debris. So rereading that if you need, what process or action is happening here? So it says that water is passing through rotating screens. And if we remember, screens is another form of filtration. That tells us that this is filtration that is happening here, right? So they have these screens that is stopping stuff from getting into the tubes that would maybe clog it up and starting off our water treatment process. Next, what contaminant is being removed? So again, it says the water passes through rotating screens to remove large debris. So what contaminants are being removed at this step? Large debris, exactly. So that could be things like trash, plastic, sticks, trees, tires, animals, any of that kind of stuff. All right. And then the third thing is what is being added. And this is most often going to be, or this sometimes might not be nothing. There might be nothing that is added or used. So if you have to put nothing, don't get super stressed out. But again, all right, so let's look here at this first step. What is being added at this process? So you could have said rotating screens, but that's not really being added. That's just what's being used to create that filter barrier. Nothing, no chemicals or anything is really being added to this. All right. So what you should have is screening or filtering is the process that's occurring. Large debris are being removed. And what is being added? Nothing. So what you're going to be doing then is going and looking at the next 7 steps, identifying what's happening, what's being removed, what's being added. And again, some of those, there might not be anything that's being removed. There might be nothing that's being added. Okay. So your task is to not only do this number 27 water treatment review, but also to complete any of your makeup work for assignments 1 through 26. Okay. You can go through any old notes. You can go through any old lectures. You can watch any old Edpuzzle lessons. You can do any of these things to not only get caught up on your makeup work, but also then prepare you for the assessment that is happening at the end of the week. So there is only one new assignment for you, and it should be posted. And I just kind of walked you through it, so make sure that you're watching this lesson first before you give this a shot. And to finish out for your exit slip, what I want us to do is to take a second to self-assess on these 5 topics related to water that we've been covering. And what you're going to do is you're going to rank yourself based on this scale. So 1 is emerging. We've used this scale before. 1 is emerging, meaning that some of the skills are there, but you kind of need a lot of work to really show mastery and understand that topic. 2 is you're a step above emerging, but you're not quite too proficient yet. You're still missing some questions. You still aren't entirely sure. A 3 is proficient, meaning that you are meeting all expectations, you understand the concepts and the topics, and you can do the skills. And then a 4 is like advanced, meaning that you're going above and beyond. Like, you could answer any question about this, you could explain it to anybody without any issues. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to self-assess yourself on this 1, 2, 3, or 4 scale for each of these 5 topics. You might be all 4s, you might be all 1s, it doesn't matter, but take a second to decide and think about how well you know these 5 parts of water. All right, so we're going to finish up. That's it. Good luck getting all your work done, and I will see you at the next lessons to get ready for our assessment. Thanks, you all. Have a great day. Keep up the good work.